This is Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. So proud to be with you today. Confessions. Confessions are important. The character of God is to come on the scene with two things. Well, He's always got mercy laying there for you, and He's always got grace laying there for you. Otherwise, you would probably be killed at any one moment. So, mercy and grace is laying there, and God says to capitalize on it. And don't get to the place to where you say, well, if I do that, God's merciful and He'll spare me from that. And just go ahead and do something that God would not have you do. Always be aware that what you do with your heart, God is in attention with that. God looks on the heart. Man looks on the outside of man. God looks on the heart of man. Where is your heart today? Is your heart today in the place to where it's drawing the mercy and grace character of God on your life, and you are accomplishing what you need to do? First thing that Nehemiah did, and we were talking about Nehemiah in the excerpt before this, and we're still in Nehemiah talking about what Nehemiah did when he had the call in his heart of God to go to Jerusalem and rebuild the walls. Now, he said, I pray before you day and night. By the way, let's go back and look at something. Ezra had the call of God on him to go back to Jerusalem to build the temple worship back and restore it. Remember now, 100 years had passed, roughly 100 years, actually about 90 years had passed when Ezra went back to rebuild the wall, about 90-something years, 92, 3 years. And Ezra went back to not rebuild the walls. Ezra didn't go back to work with his hands. Ezra went back to work spiritually. God sent this man Ezra back to work spiritually, and God sent this man Nehemiah back to be strategically sound and build with his hands and do with his hands what he was supposed to do. Yet his character was supposed to be above reproach. And it was. The character of Nehemiah was above reproach. There was no reproach in it. And this is where he started. Listen. Hezekiah Nehemiah was stole away when he was young. He's over there with his king. He's a cupbearer. And he says to God, I pray before you day and night. Now, here's a man that's praying before God day and night. You say, how can you do it? Where do you get time, Peter, to pray to God day and night? Well, you pray to God with your heart. You can be building a wall with your hands. You can be laying brick, cutting firewood, hauling coal, shoveling coal into a furnace, tending, or you can be doing all those old things, cut with a crosscut saw, and praying at the same time. You could even be cutting with a modern tool, a chainsaw, and be praying at the same time. Everything you do, you must have God included in it. He is included in it. Your very life is included in God. God made man after His own image. And the life of man, God breathed the breath of Himself, His own breath, in the nostrils of man, and man became a living soul. And what is in you that is the part of God that is forever is that soul. And now that soul, by the way, that soul is what's going to carry this body that you see to where it's going to spend eternity. If this soul carries this body to heaven, this body is going to be there too. If this soul was to carry this body to hell, then this body would be in hell fire forever. And the Bible said the worm dieth not. There is no death after this death. It is appointed unto man once to die, and then the judgment. Well, the judgment for me is going to be, enter in, good and faithful servant. And I'm going to go and be with the Lord Jesus Christ forever and ever. And never ever to suffer pain or anguish or loss or anything else again. Not ever. That is a thing, will be a thing of the past. It was a thing, if you please, was made for this earth. God does not need air to breathe. You think God needs air to breathe? No. He made air for man. He made air for the earth. He don't have to have air to breathe. He breathes without air. And by the way, he doesn't have to have blood in his body. The blood was put in the man to make this flesh and this life work. And by the way, it's such an amazing thing. Such an amazing thing. Nobody, even the top genius of the world today, can explain the body. It was put together, fitly put together by God, and God only has all of the answers. Man cannot come up with all the answers. If they could, there wouldn't be any more diseases. Let's get back in the book. He said he prayed day and night. I confess the sins of Israel. In verse 6 of chapter 1 of Nehemiah, he said we. He used the word we. We have sinned. The children of Israel, we have sinned. Here's a man that is praying day and night. Here's a man's following God with his heart. And he's saying, Lord, we have sinned. And then he said, the third thing he said, we have all sinned against you. He said, I confess the sins of Israel. We have all sinned against you. The sins of Israel, that was as a group. We have all sinned against you. And he took the blame in part of that also. And then the fourth thing he said is, my father's house and I have sinned. Wow. He again brings it home. And now he comes from all of the children nationwide in Israel back down to his father's house. Now he's bringing it closer and closer to home. And are you willing to do that? Or do you just stand in the shadows and say, well, I'm just as good as he is, or I'm just as good as she is, or I see those outside of the church, and I go to church. I go 3 times a week. I go Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday. I'm there. I even teach Sunday school. Wow. Man, that's something. Anybody could teach Sunday school. You don't have to be saved to teach Sunday school. It sure would be better if you were saved, but education could allow you to teach Sunday school. And I'm afraid that we have many in the churches today who have an education but don't have the heart of God beating in their chest. But they have the education. They like the preeminence. Somebody patting them on the back and say, boy, you're a good teacher. Well, you can be a good teacher and not be saved. You need to be saved if you're going to follow through. He said, my father's house has sinned. Listen to this. We have dealt very corruptly against you. Verse 7. He said, you know what we've done? God, we left you out. We left you out. We dealt corruptly with you. We forgot your statutes. We forgot what you told Moses. We have not had temple worship now in several years, 100 years. And as they tried to get it back, Ezra tried to get it back, he was fought on all sides. No amount of money will do God's work. Ezra had the amount of money. I don't see the prayer of Ezra as I see the prayer of Nehemiah. I don't see the prayer of Ezra as I see the prayer of Nehemiah. And God is going to take this man with great prayer and do wonders with him. Now look at verse 6, the sixth thing, that he prayed. And in verse 7, it said, we have not kept your commandments. Have you kept the commandments of God? There's only one commandment, by the way. One commandment God left, just one. And if you keep that one commandment, you will keep all of the commandments. And that is love your neighbor. Love. God said love covereth all sin. All sin can be everything by love. The problem with you and I today is we throw stones. This little stone I carry in my pocket, I carry it for a reason. It's a stone I can't throw. No matter what I see with my eye out here, a person do. If I make a judgment, more than likely my judgment will be wrong. It will be an error. If I make a judgment over something I see, my judgment will be wrong. Is that a smart thing that person's doing over there? It may not be. But it's not for me to judge. It's for me to overlook it. Matter of fact, it's none of my business just because I happened on it and my eyes saw it. It's still none of my business. And we got to be careful. Let's attend our own business. Can I look in my heart and say that there's not something as atrocious as I might see somebody doing? There may be something in my heart that God sees that's just as atrocious as what I see out there. So be very careful. Do not throw stones. People that live in glass houses should not throw stones. They're going to break their own windows first. So be careful. So be careful not to judge. This is known, reminds me, do not judge a thing. I told this story before, and I may have told it on this program. I went to a revival meeting, and at the revival meeting there was a lady there. She was very, very, very attractive to men, very attractive to men, dressed to attract men. And I said to my head, very inappropriate to be in church dressed in such a manner. And I also took my rock out and was very careful and said, Lord, help me to mind my own business and listen to what the preacher's saying and keep my eyes where they belong. So I listened to the preacher and I followed through. The very next night, that lady came back. She went to the altar that night. The next night she came back looking like a church lady, and come to find out she was a prostitute who got saved that night. Had I made that judgment, I would have been spanked till today. But I have now the opinion in my head that you need to be very careful how you judge. Let's get on here. The seventh thing, we have not kept your statutes. He said, we've sinned against you, God, because we haven't kept your statutes. We have not kept your judgments. We have not kept your judgments, God. And your judgment is to judge from the heart first and not by the physical actions of a person. A person may be God's man, may be following the Lord to the best of his ability, and his appearance outside sometimes would be, wow, I don't know if that guy is even saved. That might be his appearance on the outside, and his inside heart is, man, I'm serving God for all I'm worth. I'm just caught in this trap that I'm caught in and can't get out of it. By the way, I have had a very good friend, have some very good friends. Every now and then I might smell some alcohol on their breath. And these are guys that are really, really seeking the face of the Lord and trying to follow the Lord. We're all going to have failures. Some of us, it may smell on our breath, and some of us, it may stink in our attitude. It may smell in our attitude, and it may smell in other ways. So be careful how you judge a man because you smell him or what you see him do or whatever, because you might be talking with the most spiritual man you ever talked to in your life. Mr. David, who the Lord said, as a man after my own heart, did many things with his outside flesh that a lot of people would say, if anybody dies and goes to hell, that man's going to. And because they saw what he did with his outside flesh sometime and not with his heart. And God was looking on his heart, and God said, here's a man after my own heart. And God saved him. There was a lady named Rahab. She was a harlot. Her heart was not in harlotry. Her body was caused to be in harlotry by force, and her heart was not in harlotry. God saved her and her whole family. There was a man named Noah that found righteousness in the eyes of God. Here was a man that God looked on his heart and found righteousness. And after the ark landed, the man did some things that God was not proud of. So listen, we're in the flesh. Well, let's not judge people in the flesh. Let's say to put our heart to them. If we see a man doing something that we feel like is a reproach on him, let's pray for him and not curse him and not frown on him. Okay, so here's the things he did. He asked God to forgive all of these 7 things. He asked God, 8 things he asked God, which would be a new beginning. He wanted a new beginning, and God's going to give it to him. We're going to see that in a few minutes. Brother Peter, I must leave now. We'll see you next time.